Hello, everybody.
Hey,
Thomas, would you
Hi.
like to greet everyone?
well, I thought Chris was going to do a little intro for us, but
Okay.
or Steve was supposed to, but that's fine. I thank everybody for being here and
Yeah.
live stream of a Skyrim adventure game today.
Thomas, who
And
have we got on the channel with us today?
got Anthony from How It Plays. We've got Chris from Odipius. How you doing? And Mark from Not Board Gaming.
Hi, everybody.
Cool.
In the background we got a few of the Odipius staff here to help out with some questions as well.
And the wonderful Steve acting as producer and the hand of fate. Hammer of fate. Thanks everyone for joining us. We're going to run through part of chapter 1 of the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, the adventure game. This is a stripped back version of chapter 1, so there's a lot less cards than you would normally see in the various decks, but it's going to give you a teaser. But you can actually download this yourself for free on Tabletop Simulator and go and try it yourself. So hopefully this stream will give you a nice insight into how the game plays. We've got a big announcement coming up very shortly. Just bear with us and you'll hear what we're going to be talking about, which is about some cool new game found exclusives for the base game.
Awesome.
So first of all, guys, you got to pick who you want to be in the game. So we've got the 4 characters. I think we've already picked that, but if you were starting off the game, there would be a tussle now for who gets to be who. So it looks like we've got Anthony as the Ultima, the High Elf, down on the left. The Ultima, as you can imagine, rewards using spells, and but nothing to stop you. If you find a cool sword, you could change your attack. Then you've got Mark as the Nord.
Yay! The mighty Nord.
Yeah. My good self is the plucky Imperial, who's I was going to say the Nord is badass with a big battle axe and he's like brute force. The Imperial, bit of everything, but has got some Imperial luck. So I get I'm pretty good at drawing treasures. And then last but not least, we've got Thomas playing the sneaky Khajiit on the right hand
If be a
side.
cat in a game, I will usually choose that.
So let's see where we are. We've been talking about how this is a bit of a prequel to Skyrim. So I'm going over to the number deck on the right. We've already drawn card 209. So this is like the first chapter. This is the little story that sets us up for the game. And there's one of these for each chapter, which sets the story and gives you some special rules. So year 175 of the 4th era. The Great War rages across Tamriel. A group of young blades. Oops, so if you could move your hand. Gosh, sorry. A group of young blades recruits go on their first mission, a patrol around the forests of Cyrodiil. A Thalmor ambush catches them off guard and they barely escape alive. Upon returning to their camp, they find it desolated. The Thalmor have been there. Cyrodiil is not safe for them anymore. They escape to Skyrim, far from the Thalmor clutches. And in Skyrim, the Reachmen have conquered Markarth, and tensions between them and the Nords are rising. So let's see what special rules we've got. There's no special rules in this chapter. It's very much an introductory chapter. It's going to be shorter than most games. It's really kind of, it's a little bit softer on you to get you acquainted. So there is one thing though, chapter failure. If a main card reaches its threat limit, which is this round black symbol on the card, then the chapter is lost. Now that does not mean the game is over. It just means you keep playing and the world changes and gets harder around you because you failed so much. So the game we believe in failing forward, that we celebrate incompetency in this game. So it doesn't matter whether you fail or succeed, the story keeps going and it evolves based around your results. Because there's nothing worse than failing and then like you've got to basically pack the game away, go home, think about how bad you were, and start again next week. But this means you get to keep going. Now, all good Skyrim games start with you being arrested, right? So we've got 4 starting stories, which I've got here next to the numbered deck. and we're each going to have one of these. So I'm going to start with Anthony. If I'm going to shuffle, if you could just shout stop.
Stop.
Okay, you got arrested.
Oh, fantastic.
Then Mark, same thing again. Just shout stop.
Stop.
You got captured.
Of course I did.
And then lastly, Thomas, you were framed. And that
That
means
sounds about right.
I was trapped. So if you put that quest card down on the right-hand end of your character board, and then I'm going to give us a little quick overview of your character board. So why don't we start with Anthony's board on the far left, the Altmer, or it says High Elf on the character card here. Just as a note, we're changing all the character card arts. We've got some much better art for them. And this is your pretty standard character board, okay? So you can see you've got, this is a double layer cardboard board as Scythe made famous. So it's a nice die cut areas for your experience, your god septims, your components. We all start with 2 plants, but you can get ore and soul gems, which will be used for things like upgrading and enchanting. As you claim XP, once you get 7 XP, you'll get your first skill. These skill tokens go in these slots here. As you can see, it gets more and more expensive the more skills you want. Once you've got to 14, you can then start turning the skills over. You become legendary, and those skills get even better. And then you have your stats, health, stamina, and magicka. We all start at level 0. These little caps denote that what level you are. You're going to be able to, every time you learn a skill, you increase one of your stats by 1, depending on what you think serves you better. Around the card, you've got various slots, helmet, armor, left and right hand, or a central slot for 2-handed, boots, a couple of wearables, which look like a ring, a couple of potions. Potions are like, you know, the mixture to make a health potion. Think of it as having the recipe. And if you've got enough of the components, you can quickly whip up a healing potion. Then you've got room for a couple of status cards. All kinds of things can happen to you in Skyrim, the adventure game. You might be wanted for stealing a horse. You might have vampirism and all sorts of things. And then you've got some slots because, hey, we always find too much treasure, don't we, in Skyrim? And you're going to want to carry them around until you can swap them with friends or sell them for loot. And the character card on the left has 2 sides, a male and female side. They're both identical, both same abilities. You have an ability immediately. So, for example, with the High Elf, once per game turn, because he's highborn, he can, in combat, lose a health point to regenerate all his magicka. So, really rewards you following a spell casting route. And then you get a couple of abilities that you get if you learn those particular skills. So, the High Elf, if he or she learns illusion, then you can re-roll the enemy dice in combat, which is pretty good. And if you learn enchanting, you can draw an additional 2 cards when enchanting, which means you get more choice about how you upgrade or enchant, how you enchant your items. So the only other area is your quests are going to be on the right-hand side. You can have 1 main quest and then 2, let's call them side quests. We call them personal quests. And they are a brown in color, which we'll see come up soon. And we also, after some great feedback, are adding in some elements to make them more colorblind friendly as well. So that's basically your character cards. So we've got a first setup turn, everyone. So I'm going to assign Anthony the first player token here. This is going to move after we've all taken an action. So Anthony, why don't you read your card out? And then we're going to flip the card and see what happens to you.
Okay, so arrested. For months, I've been rebuilding my life in Windhelm. One day, guards break into my home and arrest me for no apparent reason. I'm thrown into an empty cell and left there to rot. The guards show up drunk at night, celebrating my capture. One of them falls asleep close to my door. I can see the keys poking out of his pocket, and while he is still asleep, grab them. I escape through the Windhelm jail. My path takes me to the barracks, where one of the guards who arrested me sleeps. I search through his belongings until I find a mysterious note.
Okay, you can flip the card. And keep reading.
To all Windhelm guards, dangerous criminals are living in your midst. Their names are behind this letter. You must find and capture them. You'll be handsomely rewarded. Moiva Karnai. On the back of the letter, I find a list of names of blades, mine included.
There you
So
go.
I have two options here, right?
Yeah, so you first put your character on your starting position, which is
film.
yeah. So if you move your miniature up there, and then you've got to make your choice.
Where? Oh, over here. Okay, so I can choose anywhere in that region.
No, you start on the actual town itself.
Right there. Okay. Is that right where I put them?
Oh, sorry, just sorting out. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Okay, so now. Now, actually, the wording is incorrect on here. It's you're either seeking assistance from an information broker, or it's you're gonna. I think it's going to be paying to help find Morgana. So it is a bit different. But if you pick a choice, and we'll see which card we go to.
I'll take option 1.
Okay. So option 1 is card 164. Some of we're going to all have these. Some of our numbers will overlap, and what happens then if someone else had a choice 164, they would then have to choose 165 because you've already picked it, and that affects their storyline. So this is how player choices can affect each other. Now, we're going to go and pick some equipment for you. So I'm just going to move this card down the bottom. We kind of typically we let the quest cards all line up so you can see your kind of growing story. And here you go. This is your first quest. So you can see that you're going to need to go to Dawnstar. There's a little quest token there. So if you put your red, there's a pile of quest markers for everyone just at the top of the board where the counters are. So if you grab a red quest token, put it on Dawnstar.
Dawnstar on the board.
Yeah, which is top of the north coast, and you need to go there at some point to fulfill this quest. Another quick note about the quest card is it has a 4 in this symbol, which is the symbol for threat. So basically, that means this card can take up to 4 threat before it fails, which is a bad idea. That will fail the chapter. If we get more side quests, they can also absorb threat. We get threat from event cards. There's 1 event card drawn per turn, and then we can share that threat between us, so we can help absorb the threat and make sure none of our quests fail. But as time goes on, that's going to be more and more difficult. The other thing to see on this quest card is it's got a 1 in the card there. That means you should really be level 1 to clear this threat, right? So that's a guide that you want to go off and do a bit of adventuring and level up before you go there, because it will be a bit more difficult. All right. So the other thing we could do from your choice is pick 2 pieces of equipment. So if we go up to I've just laid out the equipment deck here. This is the starting equipment. If we have a look, it's just above all the treasure cards. You've got Sparks, a spell, Novice Robes, Longbow, Iron Sword, Iron Shield, Iron Dagger, Iron Battle Axe, Iron Armor, and Hide Armor. Now, it's completely up to you what you can pick. Any 2 of them. You probably want to pick something protective and something magical for you, because it rewards your magic. But you could just decide to use a sword if you wanted to. So if you grab those, and we're going to move the hide robes down and the fists, because you won't need that. You keep these because sometimes you might lose your gear temporarily and be reduced to your robes and fists. But in this case, you can see that in one hand you've got the Spark spell, and you're now wearing the Novice Robes. We'll come back to what everything means on the card once we get playing. So that's you done for the setup turn. Let's move along to Mark. You got captured. Let's
see what it says. It says captured. I wake up with a terrible headache. My hands and feet are bound to a chair. What happened last night? A man, my captor, sleeps on a straw mattress nearby. I easily break my bindings and face the sleeping guard. I dispatch him and explore the room. My captor's house is in a state of decay. Half of the roof collapsed a long time ago, and chicken freely roam around. Inside a satchel, I find a mysterious note. Sounds ominous. Okay, it says, Dear Nyerth. Nyerth? I hear you're good at finding people. This letter contains a list of names of people I need you to find and capture. I'll make it worth your while. Moiva Karnai again. On the back of the letter, I found a list of names of blades, mine included. Place your figure in Riften. Okay, so this goes over to Riften, which is on the right, isn't it, somewhere? There we go.
Southeast, yeah.
Awesome.
And now you have a choice.
Two things.
Yeah. Now, if you were to pick the same choice, Anthony just picked 164s. So if you pick 164, you're going to now get 165, which is already a change.
Oh, well, let's do that then. I'm all for change. Let's do 165.
Those of you using the mod, it's really easy to use the number deck. You just type the number in and it spits it out. Our dev team did a beautiful piece of code.
Awesome.
In the actual game, you have a numbered box with the nice Skyrim stone relief around it, and it's got card dividers, so it's very easy to find the cards. And then when you come to reset the whole campaign and play again, it's super easy to just drop the numbers back in. Okay. Again, you can see, you've got, you need to put a quest token in Riften.
I do indeed. A story for the guild. Yeah, so if I go and get I'm yellow, aren't I? Yeah, there we go. But I'm starting in Riften, and I'm in Riften.
Quite handy. And it's level 0, so it's not quite as hard, but you've got there's a clue where you can see the challenge you're going to face further down, which is 3 dice, and if you had speech, you would get a 4th dice.
Yeah.
And so if you could take your hand away, I can...
Sorry.
Yeah, you're going to be looking for 2 circle designs, those round designs. For those who like their maths, there's 3 of those on each of the white dice. There are 2 triangles and 1 diamond. And you can push. Push means if you fail and don't get the 2 results you need, and if you have some money, 1 dice at a time, costing you 1 septim, you can roll some extra dice. As many as you want, as long as you've got money. So if you wanted to mitigate the luck and just kind of be a bit more sure you're going to do this, you could do something to gain some money. So, which maybe go into a dungeon, find some treasure, sell it, and so on. Right. Okay, that's we need to get your gear.
Starting.
Let's go to the gear. Now you're a Nord. You want heavy, brutal gear. So
right. Okay. Oh, do we want the iron battle axe?
Yeah, good idea. 2-handed. You've also got iron armor if you want.
Oh man. Yeah, let's do that. That's what we do with these guys, I think. Yeah. Oops. Bring those back down here.
So then I'll move these out the way for you. So the 2-handed weapon goes in the center. We've got little magnetic clicks here, which makes it easy to drop them down. Okay, you're ready to go now. Well, it's me actually next. The Imperial, the plucky Imperial. I'm trapped. Narintz, a traveling explorer, hires me to protect her whilst exploring some ruins. The place is quiet, yet it makes me feel uneasy. Deep in the ruins, she pulls a lever, and a cage falls right next to me, failing to trap me. We both silently stare at each other. Her disappointment is palpable. It only takes me 1 strike to defeat her, and a note falls from my attempted captor's pocket as she falls. Narintz, it's been too long since we last spoke, and now I come to you asking for assistance. I need you to keep some people secure in your ruins. Their names are on the back of this letter. I'll give you what you've always wanted if you do. Moivo, Karnai. On the back of the letter, I find a list of names of blades, mine included. How could I guess? Place your player figure in Whiterun. Okay, so I'm in the center of the board. And I need to make a choice. Will I recruit a mighty warrior? Or will I reach out to someone wiser than me? Well, I'm an Imperial. I'm strong enough, right? So I'm going to go for someone wiser. 170 I'm going to get. What do I get? Unwanted guests. So this, as you can imagine, we're already making the first choices that are sending us down some different paths, quite different paths to each other. Oh, no, sorry, wrong place. There we go. And let's move that out of the way. And I'm going to go and grab my equipment. Now, what does let's look at, if I have a shield equipped, I will gain extra armor once I learn block. So there's definitely an incentive to maybe learn to take a shield. Let's have a look at the starting gear at the top. I think I'm going to take an iron sword, one-handed. I think that makes sense. But I'm going to shuck convention. I think I might go with iron armor because I feel like we're going to be doing a lot of fighting. Don't know what makes me think that, but there we go. So iron armor and sword. Okay, that's me set up. I've got my quest, and now it is down to Thomas.
What are we doing? No, I'm just kidding. The guy who never pays attention is always at the table, right? So my character's been framed. I see a familiar face in the crowded streets of Solitude. Tulis, if I can say that right, a man I knew before I joined the Blades. When I approach him, he starts screaming, "Murderer!" Matter of minutes, I'm arrested and chained to the wall in the dungeons of Castle Door. And guarding me openly claims my arrest is an injustice. I managed to sway him to help me escape. Once released, I track down my accuser. He's not hard to find, living in the poorest quarter of the city. I break into his house and find a mysterious note. Let's see what that is.
Okay.
Oh, it says, "Dearest Natulis, you've known so many people through the years. Many of them join the Blades cause. You recognize their names on the back of this letter. If you manage to work your influence and get them arrested, you'll be glad you did." On the back of the letter, I find a listed names of Blades, mine included. So I need to be placed in Solitude, if you don't mind doing that for me, Chris.
Yeah, sure.
I got two options. I did want to ask, maybe for the people watching too, with the equipment, the starting equipment, is it
Yeah.
the same every game? Everybody?
You can choose any that you want.
No, I
you're
meant,
very-
is the initial selection of equipment and whatnot always the same?
Yes. So it's this
And-
very basic starting gear.
Okay. In the game, I missed it. Sorry if this has been covered. Is there always 4 characters?
No, you can play
Okay.
with 1. You can play with 2,
Cool.
3, or 4.
Solo mode, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Great.
Solo, you can just play with 1 character very easily.
Awesome. So my options, option 1 or 2, I can recruit a mighty warrior to help me, which seems like a good idea. So I need card 168 if that hasn't been
Okay, I'll grab that for you.
I don't have a lot of room on my corner of the table here.
Yeah, just bring it down. So you can move this one out of the way.
Great. Okay, there we go.
Move it over. So your quest token is in Morthal. I forgot to put mine down. Mine is in Winterhold. I need to put mine in Winterhold. So, and again, you can see that yours is a level 0 quest. And if you had some soul gems, they're going to help you push the skill test. Will help you with the skill
Want to
test.
explain push?
So again, you can see that when you get to Morthal, the challenge is going to be to roll 3 dice. If you had illusion as a skill, it would help you. You need 2 circles. Circles are pretty easy. There's 3 on each dice. But if you had some soul gems, that would let you roll more dice if the first 3 dice failed in the test.
Okay.
So push always. Yeah, push is always usually a cost. Maybe it's a resource in combat, or it's money or components in the normal kind of encounters, the quests.
Seems like a good way to mitigate some of the luck, maybe.
Yeah, that's right. I'll grab you your quest marker. You're going to be. You need it in Morthal, don't you? There you go. So we've completed the setup, and now we're going to go to the first turn. Which I'll leave that first player with Anthony. So Anthony, do you want to draw our first event card? So the first thing you always do is draw an event.
Where's that deck?
All right, just here, right-hand side, right-hand corner of the map. Let's shuffle it. There we go. What'd you get?
Oh.
Oh, right, a world quest. Now, these are quests that we all know about, as opposed to the main quests and personal quests that are on our cards that only that we do. This means we've heard that there are riches beyond belief hidden in ancient chambers. Can you get them without waking the undead menace? Now, this is a quest card. It can take 2 quests before it fails. Let's have a look at what we're going to have to do is put a world quest, which is a grey token, in a tomb in the Pale. So I'm going to go to the board, grab a grey card. Let's go to the Pale, which is kind of the north area. So there is a tomb here in the Pale. That's that. And there's usually only one type of location in each hold. If there's more than one, there is, like, for example, 2 ruins in East March. If there's more than one, you can choose where to put it. But in this case, there's only one. So we know that if we go and fight, that says clear 3 undead. Quite hard for us right now. If we clear 3 undead, each player in the quest gains 1 advanced treasure. So it's a good reason to go and do this all together, because we'd all get a really cool piece of treasure. But if we fail, we will add 2 vampires, wandering monsters, to any wilderness space. And they're bad. They're not only are they powerful, but they're going to move around and attack the towns. And if they do that, it can cause the towns, it stops us being able to buy and sell. It stops us being able to enter, can cost money, and then eventually they start generating threat. Now, we also have 2 threat on this card, so we need to take 2 threat. I'm going to grab those from the counter area, and we are going to have to figure out who is going to take that. So between us, we can each accept 4. I don't mind. So maybe someone who's very close to their quest already.
Say, I'll take 1 because I'm literally on my quest. Although I'm going to go and do a dungeon, I can get straight back there afterwards and do a quest, do my quest there. So I'll take 1.
And something to remember: as soon as you complete your quest, if there's any threat on it, it goes away. So that's how threat gets processed through the game. So as soon as you complete any quest, the threat on it goes away. Oh, well, I'll take 1. I think you put it on mine.
You put that one on mine then.
I have a question when you get a sec, Chris.
There we go.
Sneaky Nords, you see, you're giving it to the Imperials, right? So we're going to grab that world quest and put it up on the world quest track. We can have 4 world quests. If we get a 5th world quest, one of them must fail automatically. So, all right.
When the cities start shutting down, how do you you can clear that out or repair it, right?
Area of the board, we've got a list of all the towns and cities. And a quick overview: you can place threat on these, but they will make them start to degrade. So the first threat makes the market inaccessible. You can't buy or sell. The second one costs you then 5 septims to enter the town, which is bad news if you suddenly find that one of your quests takes you there. And if you add a third threat, they become rioting, which means they begin generating threat every turn. Now, you can save the town. It costs you 5 septims per level to stop or to help bring order back. The other thing you can see on the chart next to it is which of the market decks you can access. So, for example, Solitude, you can access the Might and Shadow deck and the Sorcery deck, whereas Winterhold, you can only access the Sorcery deck. In Solitude, you can see +1 coin. It means anytime you sell, you gain an extra septim on top of the value of the items. And then sometimes you can see components. That means that's what those cost in those areas. They usually cost 5. So, but in Winterhold, soul gems and plants are only 4, but ore is much more expensive at 7. So you've got a bit of variety between all the towns.
Okay.
So that's our geography lesson. Right. So we've done our event. Now we can all decide what we want to do. We can all move up to 4 locations on the board. And then you can go to a dungeon. You could go to a wilderness space and encounter someone, which is a good way to get components. You could stay in a town and do a town encounter, which is also a good way to meet someone and gain a side quest or a personal quest. one of the things we might want to look at is maybe some of us might want to meet up and do a dungeon. If Mark wants to do his quest as well. I don't know if anyone else wants to do their quest.
Where is that? Where's your quest, Mark?
My quest is bang next to me right here. So, but I thought I'd go and explore in a dungeon first. So I don't know if
I can come.
Yeah.
I can come help because on my turn, I definitely to do my quest. I need to be level 1. I'm level 0. I'm assuming.
Okay.
I tell you what. Why don't the two of you meet in a dungeon? You could meet. There's this cave. So let's have a look at the types of dungeons there are. They are increasing difficulty. Caves are the basic dungeon, and then you've got mines, which is the as you hear the little blue icon on the board with the hammer and chisel. Then you've got tombs, where you might expect to meet undead. The tombs are the purple symbol with the tomb. Then you've got ruins, and then you've got Dwemer cities, and they get progressively harder. But each of those gets progressively harder if you visit them a lot, because you're going to start to kill off all the weak creatures, and then see the more dangerous denizens of those dungeons too.
I think, Anthony, we could visit that nice and early, and then we get the easy monsters there. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay,
So
so
how does the movement work? Just so I understand.
count. So if you, for example, Anthony, do you want to do that first then? So you want to move down to this? You're going to move.
How do I get there?
So you go 1. So you can see the roads from Windhelm lead down to this tomb, the Dwemer, and then the cave. That's 3.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. You can move 4 if you get a horse, and there'll be various ways. You can buy a horse. I think it's 10 septims. Otherwise, you're going to want to. You might steal a horse, and then Mark, you just can move 1 space up
to there. Awesome.
Yeah. Now, because the rest of us can also move, but then we're going to do the actual actions in order, starting with Anthony, which will trigger the dungeon that you two of you are going to. Thomas, what do you want to do? We could do a dungeon.
I'm trying to figure out. My quest is my quest in Winterhold? Is that where my marker is?
No, you're you're purple, so you're. Right. Oh no, you're green. Sorry, yeah, you're in Morthal. You're
Maybe
really
green. Clear. I thought I was purple for some reason. My hand, I forgot because my hand is purple.
Yes, that's right. Just as your character's green.
Gotcha. So we're going off that.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you could go.
I'm colorblind, so there's green and orange. So those markers are going to be difficult for me.
Yes, that's one of the things we're going to look at. Thank you.
And I appreciate you considering that. So Morthal is where I'm heading, right?
Yeah. So you could just go there and try and do it.
Seems like where are you at?
I'm in Whiterun. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to stay in Whiterun and do a town encounter and get a side quest, so we can see how that works too. So let's start with, So if you move to Morthal, and then we're going to start from the first player, which is Anthony, who's the alternate. So we're going to start a dungeon. Okay, so let's go over to the combat area. This is how dungeons work. There is a little dungeon challenge card at the top of the combat area. This shows you how difficult and who you're going to face in each dungeon. So we can see that there's a cave and it's 2 animals. This is for campaign 1, chapter 1. So later chapters, they're going to be a different mix. There's going to be more of them. Think of each of those as a room. So I'm going to draw the cards. We don't shuffle the dungeon decks because they're pre-stacked in difficulty. So we've got 2 cards here in the combat area. Think of these as the kind of main thing you're going to face in that area of the dungeon before you go down a few corridors and you face the next enemy. Right, so the first enemy you have is a mud crab. Okay, now they have health based on their armor types. In this case, the mud crab has what is called heavy armor, and it's got 2 points. Okay. And one of you can sneak, can't you? So this is where you're going to come in.
You guys have sneak too? I have sneak. Who else has sneak?
No, I don't.
I don't think I have sneak, right?
No.
Oh, you're thinking of me last time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So your robes, you don't get, because you're not wearing them. You don't get the sneak. Just out of interest, you can change your gear during a dungeon by spending a stamina, but you can't change your armor because it's a bit silly getting undressed in front of a monster. Just wait a minute, I'm
Come on,
just
monster. I'll be right there.
Turn your back. Yeah.
sorry.
Stone naked.
Oh yes,
Grabbing. Sorry about that.
very good. We missed you because I'm very sorry about that.
You're going
okay.
hardcore, aren't you, Thomas? That's what you're doing.
Yeah,
I'm
this is
just running around
difficult.
naked. It's what I
So,
do.
because you we had to pick 2 pieces of gears because we jumped ahead. You'd
Yeah.
probably want something like the hide armor and the iron dagger because they give you extra sneak power. So
Good to me.
if that makes sense, but you could equally so take a shield if you wanted to.
And these just replace my existing stuff, right?
Yeah, let's
On
just
top.
break it down, and let's take the claws down. So you're going to put your hide armor on. Where did the dagger go?
I think you're on the wrong
I'll
character.
try it naked. I don't mind.
I think you put him on the wrong character.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
So I've got it for you. Right, there we go.
Yeah.
Now, quick, if we look at your character, you've got hide armor, which lets you do sneak 1, and you've got an iron dagger, which lets you do sneak 1 as well. So that means you've got a total of 2 sneak, and you add that to a basic number of 3 dice. You always roll 3 dice for a sneak test, for a skill test. So
he's not in the dungeon though with us, Chris.
Right.
oh, sorry. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, none of us in the dungeon have sneak though.
Getting carried away. So okay, yes, it's Mark and Anthony in the dungeon.
That's
So
right. Yeah.
let's see. We were doing loads of sneaking last night in another stream. That's why my mind's hooked on sneaking. So neither of you can sneak. So you've got to decide who's going to face the mud crab first. Now there's a bit of strategy here. The mud crab can do red damage to you. So ideally, the person who can absorb red damage,
That would be me. Yeah. Absolutely.
You would start the combat, and in a combat, the monster always goes first.
Okay.
So let's go back over to the dice tray, and you roll the red monster dice to see what he gets.
Oh, he's got a skull.
Now that means he uses his pincers on you to get 1 red damage. Now there's 1 of each symbol and a blank face. So basically, he would have hit you 1 in 3 chance.
Yeah.
So he's done 1 red damage to you. So let's go back over to your character card.
Yeah.
You've got 3 red armor, so you absorb that, but the impact of the hit, because you absorb the red damage, it causes 1 stamina loss instead of losing any health.
Right.
So
Okay. Fine.
your stamina and magicka is going to reset at the end of every encounter, every room.
Oh.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Now it's your turn to hit him back. Let's have a
Okay.
look at the. So as you can look on the iron battle axe, there's actually 3 choices. If you had done a bunch of damage, you could have said you were going to parry, and that would have blocked. If you were successful, that would block the damage. But you didn't take any damage. You want to kill this guy.
Yeah.
So you've got 2 choices. You could swing, which is going to cost a stamina. The little green symbol means it's 1 stamina. You're going to need 2 circles, and that would either do 2 red or 2 yellow. Your choice.
Okay.
Or you could go for the chop, which is harder because it needs a diamond. There's only 1 diamond per dice face.
So
but he does more damage.
Yeah, but he's only got 2, and he's got red armor. So my swing as a yellow would get through there, would it? Yeah.
It would, and you only need two of the circles.
Let's do that. I think.
Spend the stamina.
Yep.
First.
Here
So
we
spend
go.
a stamina. And just as another note for people watching, you'll see that the iron battle axe has got the little red area saying 2-handed. What that means is if you learn the 2-handed skill, you would roll an extra dice. Basically, skills the first level skills always give you like an extra dice for that ability.
Okay.
Okay, right. So you want to roll 3 dice
and hope for these symbols.
Yeah, that's it.
Or 2 of those symbols at the very least.
Yes.
Oh, you've got you could have did the big one.
Yeah, I could have done either of them. Yeah.
You've got crab meat sandwich for dinner.
Fantastic. Excellent.
Now, here's a bonus of doing dungeons together. The reward for killing the mud crab is 1 XP, and everyone in the room gets it.
Oh, fantastic.
So let's take, I'll bring it down for you. I'm going to bring you down 1 XP. Now, Mark, what you want to do is rotate your character card 90 degrees because you've now acted, so you can't go first in the next room. So our high elf needs to face whatever's there. Let's turn over the card. See what it is. A skeever. Ooh.
Oh, wow.
He has got 3 yellow armor. And he attacks on the 3 symbols, so he's got a 50% chance of attacking.
Well,
So, Anthony, do you want to roll the red dice?
Sure.
I mean, of course, people could roll the dice, but let's let you roll it. This is you.
Swing and a miss.
He's snapping at your ankles. Right. Let's go over to your attack. Yeah, you've got the spark spell. If you had destruction skill, you would be able to roll an extra dice, but you don't. In this case, you need to do 3 damage to taking out, but you can only do a maximum of 2. So your burst spell, which takes 2 circles, same as Mark needed, would do 2 yellow or 2 purple damage. So I'd suggest, well, up to you. Alternatively, you can spend 1 magicka to just do 1 damage.
So let me do the 2 damage then.
Okay, so spend 2 of your magicka.
Okay. Now I have to roll, right? So I rolled.
Right. Go over to the dice. Let's go over to the dice tray, and you want to roll 3 dice. If you don't get enough, you can push with magicka. You better roll more dice. But you did.
Yeah, excellent.
So, you did 2 purple damage. He's down to 1 remaining wound. So now it's back to Mark. Now you can card back. You're able to act.
And I roll the red die first, of course. Yeah.
He attacks you first. Yeah. Oh, he's just done red damage to you. So now, just as a note, you've not acted in this room yet, so your stamina would have reset at the end of the last room.
Okay,
so
right.
Your stamina is fresh. The only thing that doesn't reset room to room is health. That only resets at the end of the dungeon. So you've got to make sure you've got enough, maybe some healing and so on to survive the dungeon.
So I take 1 again because even though I block it, it's still the impact gets me. Yeah.
Yeah, and now you can attack. And you only need to do 1 damage.
So it's still got to be we'll go for the
swing.
For the swing again. Yep. So there we go. Oh, balls.
Now you could push. Because there's 3 of those circle shapes on each dice. You got a 50 chance of each, but you need 2 of them. If you had, I mean, you could try it because it's, you can push your luck if you like.
And food will push, will it then, or what will push?
No, use stamina.
It's stamina, isn't it? Yeah. Let's do that then.
Currently, at level up until your level, before you get to level 2, you can push twice. So you can do 1, because if you don't get it on the first one, there's no point pushing it. Okay, so you got 1.
Okay, let's push that 1 more time then. Okay,
and then you can kill him.
Isn't that a Britney Spears song? I don't know. Anyway,
Yes, you did it.
Look at that. We got him. Yeah.
Boom.
Good job.
The cube. Now let's just see how dungeons are reset. Oh, and everyone gets another XP. Let's grab that for you.
This is working well, Anthony. Definitely.
Oh, yeah. So this is why doing dungeons together is good. Everyone shares the rewards. And if you were only doing it on your own, you would just get 1 XP each.
Sure.
So we're back in the dungeon area. I'm going to put these 2 cards in the discard. Now, if one of you had leveled up and were level 1, if you were more than the level on the cards, the level is the top left, you would now discard these cards for good. And that dungeon now gets harder because you'll start seeing the harder denizens. But there is a certain level of that already. So we're going to turn those over. We take the top card from the pile, and we then shuffle these 3 cards and put the whole lot back on top. So you know that there's probably a mud crab and a skeever in there, but there's something a bit harder that's
Yep.
now shuffled in there. You can't just keep mining the easy dungeons because they're going to get tougher. All the dungeons will gradually get tougher as well. Plus, quests will shuffle even harder dungeon denizens into those decks as well. So they're going to grow. There's actually 50 dungeon cards just
Wow.
as a starting point, and more will get added. People that hunt you, all kinds of stuff. Right. So we did your dungeon. Now, the other thing you get, of course, is treasure. You always get treasure from a dungeon. So you look at the treasure cards at the top. We have what's called a B deck and an A deck. Basic treasure. You always get one basic treasure from a dungeon. Some creatures and places and quests will give you A treasures, which are much more exciting. And then what we don't have in this is there's a dragon treasure deck. Really, really awesome pieces of base treasure. So do you want to draw a card?
Sure.
So let's see what you got. Oh, Firebolt.
Oh, that's perfect.
So that a cheeky Nord might say, if I knew a magic user that could use that and just sell it. In our stream the other day that we recorded, Lloyd was very upset that he didn't get the bow.
Oh, wow.
So now
We both get a card, right?
Yeah, Anthony, you've got the Firebolt card now. So that means you've got your dual wielding, which means you can use whichever one makes most sense. For example, you might face something that's got yellow armor and you don't want to do the burst attack, so you use the Firebolt.
Makes sense.
As you can see, it's pretty much the same results, but better. So you might just sell your Sparks spell when you next get to a town.
Makes sense.
See equipment limit.
It's what you can see on the strip. So you could, in Anthony's case, you could add a helmet. He could add some boots. He could
You get
add
something you already have and you want to sell in the town. Can you hang on to it? Is your equipment load
you
or
don't need
backpack?
you don't need the fists in your backpack. You can keep the ragged robes. You can give them away. Once you go to a town, you can sell things like the Sparks. And you've got some spaces to hold things. You can also upgrade items. You can see the novice robes has one little soul gem there, and it says you can enchant this item up to 2 times. So for the cost of 1 soul gem, you can enchant, which will add new abilities to that thing. And most other, except for spells, most physical wearable items, swords and armor, can all be enchanted and upgraded, so you can improve their abilities and add cool powers to them. Okay, now that's the 2 of you done. So in order, it'd be me. I'm in Whiterun. I'm going to do a town encounter in Whiterun. So I'm going to go to the top right of the board to the 2 encounter decks. You've got a wilderness deck and a town deck. So this is either of these, the town or wilderness spaces, is a great way to get side quests and components. So I'm drawing a card. Let's see what I get. Ref, just Ref. Ref trains horses. They're better than people. Can you shoe a horse? I'm Ref. So I gain a component. You always gain a component first, and then you can see the task. Look, the task is to help shoe a horse. Roll 3 dice. We need 2 triangles, and you can push with ore. And my success would be to gain some XP and 2 components. Now, I've got a chance to pick a component, so no surprise, I'm going to choose ore because it's going to help mitigate the effect, the risk. But I could just take something else that I want and accept the risk. So I've taken the ore. I'm going to now go to the dice area and roll the dice. So I'm rolling 3 dice. I don't have smithing. Let's see if I can get 2 triangles. Yes!
Oh, wow.
As if by magic. So I gain 2 XP and 2 components. And as you can see, I can discard this card to take quest card 5. Now, here's the interesting thing. I could leave Wrath, go, I don't want to know your personal story. I'm off. I've got stuff to do. He goes back into the deck to be shuffled back in with the town events, and someone else can meet Wrath again, who will then try and get him involved in his life. Or I can take Reth's story, and Reth then goes away for good for the rest of our campaign, but we then follow Reth's story. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take card 5 from the numbered deck. My Little Stallion. Here we go. I'm just bringing it down. So as you can see, this is red, or a kind of dark red. And thanks to Thomas's suggestion, we're adding a big black dot to the numbered area at the top, so it's very clear which are the personal quests. So
Like
this
the
requires
green ones,
me.
right?
Yeah. So I need to go to Whiterun. So I'm in there already, so I can maybe do that soon. And as you can see, this quest can take 3 threats. So now I'm expanding my ability to take threat for the group. And I can see that the objective might, if I want to push, is going to need money, which I don't have at the moment. So the other thing is I'm going to get the 2 XP and the 2 components as a reward for that quest. And I'm going to put him in the box because he's gone for good.
Oh.
So I'm actually going to choose, what do I want? I'm going to choose ore because I want to be able to upgrade. And then I'm taking 2 XP. So doing these side quests and challenges are a great way to get the components you need to start upgrading your gear and to get XP and also to gain side quests. Right. So now finally it's the time for the Khajiit to shine. Are you ready?
Fail. Yeah, actually, I have a question. This is just unfortunate on my side. My tabletop simulator is showing the dice tray symbols just all blank or dark. I don't know why that is.
Well,
You
we
might
can
have to
see
just.
what they are when you roll.
Okay, we'll see. I haven't been
Yeah.
seeing people's results, so I'm like trying to root you on.
You're gonna try and. Do you want to try and do your quest in Morthal then? So you're there.
Yeah. You actually want to be naked and blind for this game. I mean, you're really going hardcore on this, aren't you?
I am just trying to just swing around. I'm the guy like you ever see in the video games that's stuck in the corner jumping at the wall. Like, what is that person doing? Boomer alert. No, I'm just kidding. Just tabletop simulator being weird for me right now. But what's my process here, Chris?
Right. So just read the story and.
Okay. So the sword of Marwash mountain rests on a pedestal up where everyone at the inn can see it. It's not a blade anymore. Now he serves mead for all the people of Morthal. He recognizes me, and we both celebrate the reunion. He tells me he's fearful for his life. Somehow someone has been following him a few nights. He wants to disappear and needs my help. My objective is to create a distraction. Looks like I need illusion. Roll plus illusion. Is that on the other side, or we wait on that?
Yeah, you don't turn it over yet. So
Right, what's the illusion part mean when it's
That's
on
right.
the plus?
That's if you had the illusion skill, you would gain an extra dice, but you don't
Okay.
have the skill.
I don't.
So you are going to roll 3 dice, and you need to get 2 of the round results. You don't have the ability to push because you don't have any soul gems. But so this is just this would be a good example of whether you can succeed or fail. So if you roll the 3 dice, we'll tell you what result you get.
See if I can manage this here. I've got them selected. Let's roll. I got no result that I can see. So what did I get? I don't know why it's not showing me the dice.
You only got 1 circle. So let's see what happens when you fail a main quest. So do you want to turn the card over?
Yeah, figures I'm the first one to fail.
Okay. So if you had succeeded, Morash the Mountain would have given you his sword and he would have gained 2 XP. But as you can see, failure. They see me. Now I'll be hunted too. We draw card 155 and add it to the discard pile of the human dungeon deck. And then there's one more symbol. Let me just go and get that card. So that means any dungeons with humans in are about to get a bit harder, as this is a good example. See, mercenaries, they're really tough. And they ambush you, which means they attack you before the normal attack starts. You can still sneak on them, but if you fail, then they're going to basically attack you twice. This is going into the human deck, discard deck. So the first time we do a dungeon with humans in, that will get shuffled in at the end of that dungeon.
Yep.
And now there's one more symbol here, which is a blade symbol at the bottom. It's because you failed, somewhere in Skyrim, a blade dies because of this failure. So we're going to go over to, there's a blades deck at the top of, just above the number deck. Now, these are really cool cards. They're a mixture of events, they're characters, they're followers, they're all sorts of things. And we really want them to appear later in the game. But one of
Kill
them...
them, you're saying? So that's not the goal?
All right.
We don't want to kill them like I just did.
Yeah, but it's going to happen. They're going to die. So
Exactly.
we just shuffled it. I'm taking one. We don't know what it is. Well, let's for the fun of it, let's just show you. Look, Tyrion Gavdus, a member of the Blades. The Blades owe you a great deal. I want you to have this. You would have gained. Well, if this had gone into the game, we would have gained an A treasure. Whoever met him, but that's it. It's dead. He died screaming. He didn't get to his beautiful treasures lost in the forest somewhere. So, do you want to read the rest of that story?
Yeah, let me get there.
Now, here's an example, though. This is how we fail forward. Because you failed, it doesn't matter. Something bad's happened, but you still get to carry on your story. It doesn't stop you. The game's not over. You keep going. But bad things have happened.
It progresses and things change. It's very dynamic each game, right?
Yeah.
So Marash, I don't know if I'm saying that, mountain knows of a Khajiit who goes by the name of Ova Karnai. Met her at the New Guinness Corner Club in Windhelm. He says she used to receive lots of packages from a friend in Elden Root. So option 1, infiltrate the New Corner Club pretending to be a skooma addict. I mean, skooma is fun. I'll create a distraction at the club. Let's go with option 1.
176. You're going to go with the addict route, yeah?
Mm-hmm. My naked kaiju just likes to, run around. That's one of the reasons. It's all the skooma that I do.
There we go. So this card goes away. Goes down to your, and now you've got this. So basically you're going to be going to Windhelm. So I'll move your. Do you want to move your token to Windhelm? So put it down here. There we go. So your main quest has moved on, and that's the end.
How do you want me to do it?
No, I've done it. Yeah, it's all moved for you. So that's the end of the turn, and the first player token moves to Mark.
Excellent.
The Nord.
Okay.
Do you think you've got it in it for you for this turn?
Yeah. Why not? Why not?
So
we'll head down.
Oh wait. So before you do anything, draw an event.
Event card. Sorry. Yep.
It's okay.
Okay. Here we go. Flip that. Okay.
Conspiracy. There are forces working against you. Oh dear. Place a threat token on each quest, then discard this card. It's in the discard. So, right, we're gonna have to put a threat on
everybody's quest. Yep.
We're gonna have to put a threat. I'll bring them down. That's bad.
That's a lot of threat tokens. Yeah.
And we don't have the ability to put them on any of the towns because they have to go one per quest. One per quest. Yeah. So all right.
In a bit of I'm all right, Jack. Though I'm gonna do my quest next, so mine are gonna go anyway. So yeah,
that's okay. You see, it's not the end of the world. It's just like a kind of okay. We keep an eye on what's happening.
Yeah.
What is everyone going to do?
So I'm going to move down to Riften.
Okay, so you're going to do your quest. What about you, Anthony? What do you? If you like Anthony, I'd be up for doing a dungeon.
Yeah,
or do you
I need to level, so I want to keep fighting.
Okay, so why don't we meet? There's this cave in East March.
Yep, that's 2 away. I can do that.
1, 2, 3. Yeah. And finally, Thomas, what are you thinking? You've
A long way to go for my main quest.
Yeah.
Not very close.
You could do a wilderness. You could maybe you could stop en route in a wilderness and pick up a personal quest.
I hear that the wilderness is very good for naked blind cats, Thomas. So you'll be good there.
We're all drugged up on skooma. It sounds like a good place to hide out. Let's do that.
So yeah, this one, you've got 1, 2, 3 to get here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so
I'll do that. Okay.
you could do this one en route if you want.
There I go.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. So let's start with Mark,
Me.
because you're player. We're going to start with your actions. It's your quest.
Yes, quest. So, story for the guild. The Ragged Flagon in Riften is a meeting point for all sorts of lowlifes, a bit like this YouTube stream. There, I met Mercer Frey, a young and promising member of the Thieves Guild. He doesn't seem to know Moiva Karnai. I tried to loosen his tongue by sharing gold and stories with him. So I've got to do a roll, and I've got to get 2 of the round things, basically. And I can only push with septims, but I don't have any septims. Nobody has any coins, do we? No.
Right, not yet.
Okay, so we go to the dice. We're going to ask for a really lucky roll on this. And it was unlucky.
Oh no.
Oh no, I failed my quest.
Goes away, so that's okay.
Yeah, flip this over and go to the back. I lose the septims that I used, but I didn't have any septims anyway, so that's just a failure.
Yeah, so you would have gained three gold.
Yeah.
But again, it keeps going.
Yeah, Moiva Karnai and Mercer Frey did a few heists together a few months back. She stashes her loot in a cave in Harfingar. It's probably well guarded, so I should consider bringing in reinforcements if I plan on storming it. Option 1, I will storm the hideout by myself, which is card 173. Or option 2, I will hire some mercenaries. I'm a big, brave brute with a 2-handed axe. I'm going to go for storming it by myself, 173, I think.
Okay, I'll get the card for you. 173. There you go. Bandit heist.
And where's that got to go? Harfingar.
So put a quest marker on a cave in Harfingar, and it's also saying that this is a level 1 quest, so you probably want to try and level.
I think ours up at the top left, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
There's only one cave. Awesome. Great.
Yeah, it makes it easy. So as a result, everywhere there are specific locations. We just don't give names, because then in a different quest, it can be a different, potential name location, but it's still the cave in Hafengar or the tombs in Winterhold. But lets us have a lot of flexibility on the story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right. Okay, so now it's next. It's me, which means it's me and Anthony doing a dungeon. So let's go up to the dungeon area, and I'm going to draw 2 cards. Let's hope we don't face anything too tough. And I'll turn over the first one. Uh-oh, a bear. He's pretty tough. As you can see, we've had one of the first harder creatures. And he's also level 0, but a lot harder. So I think, do you want me to? I can take him first.
Sure, he looks pretty tough.
Probably going to do red damage, and I can absorb that with my iron armor as well.
Yes, I cannot absorb that.
Yeah, so let me have a go. Right, none of us can sneak, so we're going to roll his monster at dice. He got a lightning bolt. The lightning bolt means he crushes me for 2 red. Ouch. Okay, so let's look at my board. My iron armor can absorb up to 3 red. So because it absorbed it, I lose a point of stamina for absorbing the damage. Right, now I can attack him. He's got 4 yellow armor. So I don't want to be doing yellow damage. So I'm going to have to use my sword attack. So I'm going to spend a point of stamina to do the slash. I need 1 triangle, and that will do 2 red damage. So let's roll the dice. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Right, 2 red damage, goes straight through. Now, just for those of you wondering, if I was only doing yellow damage, you deduct, much like attacking or when you take damage. If I did, say, 4 yellow, he's got 4 armor, 4 minus 4 is 0. You always do a minimum 1 point of damage. If I did 6 yellow damage, and he's got 4 armor, 6 minus 4 would be 2 damage. But because I'm doing a color that is not the color of his armor, he can't defend against it, so it goes straight through.
So as long as you have a success, even if it doesn't, even though he has armor against that. So if I would have did like you said 2 yellow damage, he would still take at least 1 damage from that attack.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you did 1 yellow damage, he takes at least 1, because otherwise it means you can always wear them down a little bit. It's
Okay.
like trying to stab someone with a little, your starting level dagger. That you always do some wounds.
Right. It's gonna take a while.
So, time for the magic user, the sorcerer, to shine.
All right, so I'm gonna use my firebolt then.
Yeah, why not?
That's gonna cost me 2.
Yeah. Oh, and you haven't used any of your magicka,
Not
so
this
let's just
round, so
last time. So yeah, you're going to be. It's going to cost you 2. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you just did it. And you need 2 circles, and that will let you do either red or purple damage. So
okay.
either is enough.
2 circles.
Okay, go for it.
0 circles.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, it's up to you. You could try pushing, but each push will cost 1 magicka.
Oh,
Or
really?
you can, yeah. So you could roll an extra dice for a point of magicka. So you got.
I'd have to roll 2 successes in a row. I mean, 1 success in a row. All right.
Yeah, you need to get two more successes.
2 more.
with
That seems like a lot.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's only the first one. Don't worry. I mean, I can take him on the next on my turn next, if you like.
Yeah. So let's not then. I want to
Oh,
hold.
sorry, we did forget to roll.
He attacked me first.
Yeah, we didn't roll for his attack, so let's just do that. Just there we go.
Oh,
Lightning. 2 red. Now let's look at your card, your board. Now you only have 1 purple armor, so you can't protect it at all. That damage all goes through, so you take 2 health wounds. Just so you know, you might be wondering what this little symbol is here. There's on your last point. If you take some damage, if you took another 4 damage now, you don't take 4 and die. You stop. So you've basically got what we call like your final wound, and that gives you a chance to go. You know what? I'm going to risk it. I'm going to try 1 more attack at the risk that you might die, or it gives you a chance to go. I'm done. I'm out of here. I'm going to leave the dungeon with what I've got. Now, dying isn't such a bad thing. If you do die, you don't lose anything. You don't lose all that cool gear you've been finding. What happens is you respawn in wherever you are at the end of the turn. You then have to draw an event card, which is generally bad, and you also have to draw 1 threat for every player in the game. So if someone did die in this encounter, there would be 4 threat drawn and an event card, which probably triggers 2 more threat. So again,
Don't die.
yeah, don't die.
here's a question. Since my robes have dodge, when would that come into play?
Now, here's a thought. You could, you did your attack, but if you hadn't have done your attack, you could say, "Oh, I took a bunch of damage. I'm going to dodge instead."
Okay.
So what happens is you try and get the dodge result. It costs you stamina, and if you do that, then you block any and all damage coming in. So, for example, if we're facing a really tough enemy and you just can't take the damage, you dodge. I'll attack him.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. And there are ways to reset your magicka and health. On your character card, it says rest to regain. At the bottom of the card, it says rest to regain 2 stamina and 2 magicka.
Right. But as a high roller, I could just lose a health and get all my magicka back, right?
You could, yeah. That's one of the good things about the high elf. So, and the other thing, you've got 2 plant components. You can always heal 1 wound.
Okay.
So when you typically get to your final wound, you can heal again, and that gives you another break.
Gotcha.
So, it's back to me then, because Sorry, it's back to the Nord. Oh, who's in the dungeon?
no.
Oh, no, it's me.
Yeah.
It's you.
Yeah, it's me. Back to me. Right. Yeah, so we've got to attack with him first. Let's see what he does. Flame. He missed.
Oh, no.
Thanks. Let's see if we can take him out. Right, so I'm going to spend a stamina, and I'm going to try and do the 2 red attack, so I need a triangle. Back to the dice. Let's roll the dice. Oh, no, that's no good.
Oh,
I'm going to try and push. So I'm going to spend 1 stamina and roll 1 dice. It's a 33% chance. No. Luck not with me today. So it's back to you, Anthony.
ooh, this is going to get interesting.
So first of all, he attacks you.
Oh,
Gull. Ow, 3 red.
3 red.
Okay,
I'm going to have to dodge.
Yeah.
it works. 3 red. Now, you immediately drop down. You can only take 2 because you're blocked at you stop at your final wound. Now what you can do is now use your potion of healing. So if you cash in your 2 plants, you heal back 1 point.
But could
But
I
what happens?
dodge first though before I take the damage?
No, you could. Yes, that's exactly right. So if you want to try and do that first, and then I can try and kill him. So why don't you try and do the dodge? So that's going to cost you a point of stamina, and you need to get the triangle.
Just 1 triangle, right?
Yeah, so it's not too bad.
Boom.
Oh,
That'll do. So you blocked all that damage, so you're okay. So it's back to me, and I'll see if I can take him out this time. So I'm using up my last
He strikes first, right?
point of stamina, and I'm going to do the slash.
But yeah, he's got to hit you first though, right?
Oh, sorry. Yes. Oh, yeah. I was right. Let's try that. Girl.
Oh,
Ouch,
that's
3 red.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, bad thing about that. So 3 red, I absorbed it. That used up my last point of stamina. So I've got no stamina left. So I have 2 choices now. I can use, I can burn health instead of stamina, or I can rest and reset. I'm going to risk it and burn a point of health to be able to do the attack. Let's see. I'm back at the dice. I need to get a triangle.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Just did it. Right, killed him.
He was tough.
Yeah, now let's see, what do we get? We get 1 XP each. And then whoever did the killing blow can choose from the next rewards. You can see there's 2 more rewards. There's a bee treasure and 1 plant component. So I'm going to pick the bee treasure. Let's see what we got. I'm going to the treasure, and then obviously we'll give it to whoever makes sense. Oh, an iron war axe. I think that's got your... Well, I don't know. Who? No, sorry, you're the magic user, aren't you?
Oh yeah,
So
no good to me.
I take it. Is this 2-handed? No, it's 1-handed. So I'm going to put that in my hand. It's better than the iron sword. A bit better. Does a bit more
Can
damage.
people trade if they want at some point?
Could. I mean, if I'd got a spell, I could have gone, look, I'll give you the spell. You might say, well, look, I want that really cool weapon. I'll give you this, or I'll give you some money, or I'll give you some components. So let's get the XP each. And there's also a plant component. I'll bring these down. Anthony, so I'll just drop, I'm going to give you the plant component, so you didn't have to use it yet, and I'll take my XP. And okay, so our health doesn't reset, but our stamina and magicka resets at the end of the room. We have a little break. Have a quick crab set, and then we're back with the next room. Skeever. They just won't give up, will they? Now, I was the last person to attack, so I can't go first. You can.
Okay. Let's see what he does.
Yeah. Oh, 1 red.
1. Okay. I'll take it.
Okay. You're not at your final wound yet.
Oh,
You
yeah,
can still use.
Still in there. All right, so I'm going to do my... What's his...
Now you can. He's got 3 yellow.
3 yellow. Okay, so I'm going to use my firebolt again. So it's going to cost me
Yeah.
magicka. Okay, and I need.
You can kill him in one blow if you get two circles.
Boom.
Oh, you did it.
Boom. He's dead. Oops, sorry.
No. Got a bit excited.
Right. So that's gone. We both get an XP.
Nice.
Clocking up, right?
Oh yeah.
Doesn't take long to get your first level.
I had a naked cat there to help you. Man, I could have sneaked in there.
Oh yeah.
Can you trade anywhere, or do you have to be at the same location? Somebody asked.
Yeah.
That makes
Now,
sense.
remember, we get a treasure as well. Now, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. My Imperial Luck lets me draw 2 treasures and pick the best one, but I have to lose a health point. Now, you might go, wait a minute, health resets at the end of the dungeon, so why does it matter? If I was on my last health point before I die, because I'd taken loads of damage, I couldn't do it. So I'm going to do it. The health resets anyway. And I'm going to draw us 2 B treasures and see which is the best for us. Oh, look at that. Haha, Dwarven Armor or...
Ooh, that's all good, huh?
So, interesting. What do you reckon? Like, you could take the Ring of Luck, and once per game turn, it's going to give you an extra dice to be able to cast your big, powerful spells.
Oh yeah. I'm good with that.
I'll give you that. So that goes on your wearables.
Right here, okay.
Yeah, you could have up to 2 of those. Look, you can enchant it as well, so it'll gain even more ability. So anything you do once per game turn, you get an extra dice. Could be a skill test.
That's great.
So that's pretty fun. So that's the benefit of the Imperial Luck. Okay, so we did that. I'm just going to go back, and none of us have leveled up yet. So the
only
dungeon
one of us gets an item. We only get one item at the end, or do we both get?
Yeah. No, we just get there's one shared between us. But of course, the good thing is now sometimes when you fight the bigger creatures, they're also going to give you treasures.
Gotcha.
I'm just resetting this deck with the top one from the pile. Okay. And then it's the Khajiit. You're in a
naked in the woods on Scooch.
So let's go up to the encounter cards here in the top right. There's the wilderness encounter card. If you just draw one of those, you where are you?
Yeah. Do that from here. Yeah. Hold on. I hit draw. Again.
Got one for you.
Thanks, man.
The BAM.
Right. So what do I got? I've traveled across this land, seen many things. To share some stories and mead. So is this somebody? Oh, I've met a trader. It looks like.
Yeah. So you gain a component. Now look at the. If you look at the. Oh, this is an interesting one. You're going to roll 3 dice. If you had speech skill, you would roll a 4th, but you don't. You need 2 circles. You can push with experience points. Now you don't have any though, so it's not so much a risk because you can't use it. But there's an upside. Look at what the success would be: 3 XP and 3 components. So there's a real gamble with this. Getting drunk with a caravan trader. So, what component would you like to take? The component is going to help you here. I don't know.
No, it's not. Any advice on what to stock up on, or is it hard not to leave off your quests? Or
you want to upgrade your gear? You want to get some soul gems or ore. So one of those, I would say.
Just give me a soul gem.
Okay. Going to help you enchant. Okay, then do you want to do the test here? So you're looking for 2 circles with 3 dice. Not hard.
I can roll them, but I won't be able to see what they are.
Yeah, we'll tell you. Or will we?
And I can just tell you that I passed. How's that? Let's go with that. It's my dice are all blank, right? I get to pick what they are. Let's see here. Get someone to roll those for me. I'm having issues here.
Here we go.
Oh,
Not saying that you didn't win, Thomas, but it was you didn't win.
yeah, sad. But you still can take his quest, the quest card 7, if you like. You want to do that?
Yeah, definitely. I don't
Okay.
lose anything for failing that. I just don't gain anything on that one.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Would have been nice to have that XP.
Oh yeah, that's a lot.
Here we go. So this
Yeah.
is your first side quest, which is Moon Sugar Rising Part 1.
Ajit, everybody needs to put all their hands on my card at once. Ajit has wears. I mean, I'm already drunk and naked. What more damage can I do? Whereas if you have a coin, find me in the tent. Maybe we can do business together. You have to pay an investment fee, however. So I have to go to Windhelm for that. It looks like.
Oh, you got your quest go.
Two things.
Look at that.
Everything, all your roads are meeting in Windhelm.
Yeah,
There
all
you go.
roads lead to
I
Windhelm.
have good times there. No, those are different turns, obviously, to tackle each quest, right?
Yes, you couldn't do them all at the same time. You can, when you get to a town, you can do your
Okay.
quest or a town encounter. But then in any town, you can also do any and all of the following. You can buy stuff, sell stuff, upgrade, and enchant. And when if you've got enough XP, you level up at the end of your turn anywhere you are.
Can't do both quests in one town in one turn,
could-
right?
Right. So that is the end of the turn. And
Excellent.
the first quest player moves to me. I will draw an event card.
Just want to bring up time in case it matters to anybody.
Yeah.
We're over an hour.
doing
I
it.
don't know.
Because I
keep
think we've
going?
seen a good selection of everything in the game. So what we haven't seen is upgrading. So I can quickly show you that if you like.
I definitely would like to see that.
So why don't we let's ignore the quest card for now. If we kind of draw close here, I'm gonna where am I? I am in. Let's say in this turn, I'm going to move back to Whiterun, and I happen to have 3 ore, which is enough to upgrade. If we look at my player board, I've got the iron great axe that I found, and it's got the cost of 2 ore or 2 soul gems to upgrade it. So I'm going to pay 2 ore to go to the armorer and upgrade it. So I draw a enchantment card, which is just at the top of the board here next to the wilderness and town cards. I'm going to draw one of those. Let's bring it down to my character board and turn it over just to show you how these work. So these do double duty as an enchantment and upgrade card. So because I'm upgrading the iron axe, as you can see, it's very easy. You just put it to the left, and that shows you that it does +2 damage now. Okay. Actually, you can use your hand purple. Yeah.
Now, is that +2 just to that one-handed attack?
That's right. So instead of doing 3 red, I'm now doing 5 red, which is pretty cool.
Good.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, if I enchanted the iron great axe, the war axe instead, you put the card popping out the top, which is the enchantment area. Look, when I get red damage, I gain stamina, which is really awesome if you're a fighter.
Yeah.
And you're relying on stamina.
That's pretty cool.
That's really good. And then the other way to use it is I could equally so have enchanted the iron armor, or I could have upgraded the iron armor. Look, this now gains me an extra red point of armor, so I now could absorb 4 armor. So as you can see, using different
duty cards.
Sorry?
These are triple duty cards, then, right? They have 3 different ways to.
Yes, yeah. They upgrade armor or weapons, and they can enchant anything. Actually, that ring that you found. Let's bring that over. So the ring that Anthony found, he could have enchanted that for 3 soul gems, and this now gives you that ability to gain stamina when receiving any red damage. Now you might think, well, yeah, but wait a minute, for Anthony, he doesn't really need the stamina, so why is that any use? Now he if he just gets that one card, he could go, look, this isn't so much useful for me. Hey, Chris or Mark, why don't you use it? Because you're gonna you get more benefit from that. Now, the other way of doing it is, now I had 3 ore. I could have spent an extra ore because I didn't like that card and drawn a second upgrade card. There we go. So now I have the choice of which one suits me better. So for the weapon, I now could instead gain +1 to the swing attack, which might be slightly better. I think I would have preferred the +2. Equally so, if I was doing this to the armor, now you have to pick which thing you're enchanting upgraded. You can't just pick stuff and go, which thing will make more sense. If I was upgrading my armor, I could now gain yellow, a point of yellow armor. So I'm now protecting 3 red and 1 yellow, which is a bit more useful, but a bit more all-rounder. So as you can see, and the other good thing is, if I didn't use that for the enchantment, I'd gain sneak 1. The only thing with sneak is you can't use it if you're wearing heavy armor, and I've got iron armor. So, but the Khajiit would love that if we enchanted, for example, the ring.
I think once something's enchanted, Chris, you can't move that enchantment. It's just on that particular item. Yep.
If you sell it, you lose it.
Yeah.
But if you can still give it to someone else because maybe it's more useful for them. You could trade it with them, or they could give you money for it, and then they can benefit from the enchantment. What you'll find is, as you go, it makes sense to run around, do a few dungeons, and then find something good, and then try and upgrade and enchant that. There's several quests and events that will let you upgrade something for free if you complete the event, and that's really good because some things cost a lot to enchant. Let's have a quick look at the pooled treasure decks, because I know people will love nice treasure, and then we're going to talk about our big news. So look, an ebony sword, elven armor.
Oh, these are nice.
Lizard, ebony armor, elven dagger. So there's some great stuff here. You can see, look at this blizzard, 6 magicka to cast.
Oh wow, that's a big cost spell, yeah.
Yeah. Now, of course, as you level up, you're going to be able to increase your magicka stats, and there'll be other abilities that maybe will you might be able to regain magicka. Just like that enchantment we just looked at absorbs. Gives you stamina from when you get red damage. There's similar things that might give you magicka back.
Right, and assuming that the damage in these is going up, that the monsters are going to go up. Equal value.
Let's have a quick look at some of the dungeon decks. Let's take a look at.
Could we also have an example of sneak? There's been requests for sneak.
Yes, we should. That's a very good idea. Very good idea. Well, first of all, I'll just show you some, nasty-looking dungeon encounters. Got a dwarven ballista trap that impales you for 5 yellow damage.
Oof.
And the way that works, this is a good example, is the first time we enter the room, if someone has the lock-picking skill, they can they get 3 dice plus however much lock-picking they've got to try and get 2 circles. If they succeed, they diffuse the trap for everyone. Otherwise, you've got to fight it like an encounter. It's basically shooting things at you. And it's only got 1 red armor, so it's quite easy to defeat, but it's pretty risky. Then look at this dwarven sphere. It's sneak 3, which we're going to do sneak now. So let's look at how sneak works with this dwarven sphere. Now, if the Khajiit was in this room and willing to fight it, let's look at the Khajiit's character. He's got sneak 1 for his hide armor and sneak 1 for his iron dagger. It also does ×2 damage, which we'll talk about in a sec. So you get your 3 base dice plus 1 for every sneak. You'd be a bit desperate with this one. So you'd get 1, 2, plus you'd be like, all right, I'm going to take a point of damage to gain an extra point of sneak, which is your night vision skill that you can use once per game turn. So that would give you a total of 1, 2, 3, plus the 3 dice, 6 dice. Let's just see. Why don't you try rolling this, Thomas, and see what result you get. If we look at the dwarven sphere, it's got a sneak difficulty of 3. Three circles, that is.
Oh,
We'll
Thomas, the
pretend
dice
that
not
you-
with you.
Or not
Now
today.
let's pretend that you rolled those the three. There we go. Three circles. That meant you were able to sneak up on the dwarven sphere and stab him in the face. And let's look at the iron dagger. It does sneak 1, damage times 2. So when you sneak, you've now effectively got an attack for free. You still have to pay the stamina cost. So in this case, it was 1. But you do.
Sorry, Chris. Chris, can you push on a sneak?
You can't. No.
Ah,
Because actually, you're already getting the benefit of the extra skills.
yeah.
So, because the iron dagger lets you do times 2 damage, that would be you basically go, okay, I'll do the stab attack, and that does 4 yellow damage. And
you'd have to roll for that attack now as well.
Yeah. Now, in this case, it's not so good against the dwarven sphere. He's got 1 yellow armor, so you would have taken out his yellow. But if this enemy had no yellow armor, you could have wiped out his 4 purple armor. Sorry, 3 purple armor.
So would he start with 3 cubes on the board?
Exactly. So that gives you an idea of how you need to use a bit of strategy. So if we weren't sneaking, we would be like thinking, okay, so look, the Khajiit, you can only do yellow damage. But that might not be a bad thing, because if you get rid of yellow, then any yellow damage can be used to reduce any of the other armors. So you need to use a bit of strategy between you. If, for example, you were together with Anthony and he can only do purple armor, purple damage, then let's say the spear didn't have yellow, you would say, okay, I'll use my yellow attack to reduce his purple down, and then Anthony, you can do your attack and you can probably kill him.
Yep, makes sense.
There's ways to attack. Now, the other thing is this has an ambush. If you fail your sneak roll, he immediately attacks you for free with the skull attack, which in this case is aim, and he's shooting the arrows at you, so it would do 5 yellow damage. And then he ambushes you. If you don't sneak, he does the ambush, and the ambush is basically he gets a free attack in before the first round of combat, and then, as normal, whoever chooses to go first, he attacks them first. So this is a tough enemy, and he's only level 1. So as you can see, let's have a look. There's we've got a.
He would have hit me for 5, basically.
Yeah. As you can imagine, these are level 1. The worst ones here are level 1 enemies.
Explain what happens. Like I would have gotten health reduced. I'm done until the end of the dungeon, right? That happens.
Well, so what would have happened? You took 5 damage. You would go onto your last wound. Now, what you could then do is use your 2 health to give yourself a wound back. So it doesn't matter. He could do 5 to you again, and you go back down to your last wound. So it does give you a fighting chance. You could just go, guys, I can't stay. I can't do any more healing. I've got to leave the dungeon, and that's fine. The others just keep fighting, but you won't get any of the treasure for being in the dungeon.
So after a combat round, you could just leave and your turn's over.
You could, yeah. But of course, you don't get the end treasure for the dungeon. You don't get any of the rewards for defeating that enemy. But sometimes you're going to be on the edge and go, shall I do it, shan't I? And I played a session last night where I was literally on my final wound. If I didn't kill him, he was going to kill me, and I would have had to draw lots of threats. And I just did it. It was one of those fist pump moments.
Yep.
So that's we covered sneak. Anything else? We've covered enchanting. We've covered treasure. We've been doing the events, which have brought out threats. We've been doing our quests. We've seen the result of not achieving the quests. That it's the failing forward. Now let's talk about our big announcement. Drum roll. We've just been talking about these dungeon decks, right? So there are, as a starting point, there are 10 cards in each dungeon deck of increasing difficulties. There are all types of encounters like traps and different creatures. So what we're going to be doing, we're announcing our legendary encounters And these are going to be lots of small stretch goals spread out through the unlocks over the coming days and weeks. And we're going to have 4 of these between each of our major stretch goals. What are these are going to do are going to open up some really awesome legendary encounters. What does that mean? So do you remember when I talked about when you have filled up all the skills on a character card, there are 8 skill slots that cost 7, then 8, then 9, then 10, and so on. I'm just on the Khajiit's character card. Oh, we should just show leveling up actually as a thing as well.
Yeah.
We'll do that after this. Once you've learned all 8 skills, you can now become legendary, and it costs the next one will cost 15 skill points, 15 XP. And you can then turn one of your skills over. I'm gonna just grab one just so you can see. So let's say on the Khajiit's board, if we had all these filled in with all sorts of different skills the Khajiit had learned, by becoming legendary by spending 15, you get to turn the first one over. He's now got sneak 2, not sneak 1. Now, when you become legendary, this is where these cards are going to come in. These cards are going to be very beautiful. We're looking at foil and hologram effects. This is a pack of exclusive cards that are in this box only in the GameFound. It's GameFound exclusive. So they will not be in the retail box. They'll not be in any other releases. Only the backers of the GameFound are going to get these, and there's going to be more and more unlocked. Each encounter, legendary encounter, is a very dangerous enemy. So the first time someone becomes legendary, you're going to take one of the legendary cards at random, one of the legendary enemies, pick one at random, and you'll see which deck it belongs to, and you're going to add it into the discard. That is a very, very dangerous enemy you're going to have to face. But dangerous enemies come with incredible rewards. I don't know if any of you have played Skyrim and you've come across all those famous artifacts in Skyrim. There's all sorts of really cool named items, such as the Forge Master's fingers and others. There's going to be cool weapons and bows and shields and robes, all kinds of stuff. So, and we're going to be talking more about what they are and what they do on the Skyrim 10th anniversary on coming up on Thursday, which is amazing, 10 years. And you're going to start seeing these unlocked. We've actually unlocked one of them already, so bear with us. We're going to be doing an update tonight and showing you what's been unlocked, and that you'll see them more unlocked as we go. So expect quite a lot of these to happen, and this is one of the first reveals. So expect legendary encounters, legendary rewards as you fight your way through and become legendary status. And there's some other cool cards that we're going to be talking about later on once we've unlocked all of those. And that's the big announcement. So hopefully that helps. We were listening to the community who were saying, come on, can we have something that's special for the base game? And so we've done that. So all base games in the GameFound get this exclusively, which means all the tiers get it as well.
That's great.
Nice.
Excellent.
All right, guys. So well, we should just do some leveling up. Let's just show you. Let's do it with Khajiit. We'll pretend that Khajiit had 7
Not
XP.
failed miserably. You want to pretend that? That'd be great.
Yeah, it's a bit of make him feel better. So as soon as you get your first 7 XP, you can't get any more than the number. Then you at the end of that turn, you'll level up. So what does level up? You can then spend your XP on any skill. Let's just have a quick look at the skill blocks and by the tokens. There's a whole variety here. You've got a path of sorcery, might, and shadow. You've got sorcery skills. You can learn illusion, conjuration, destruction, restoration, alteration, and enchanting. You've got smithing, heavy armor, block, two-handed, one-handed, and archery. And then you've got light armor, sneak, lockpicking, pickpocketing, speech, and alchemy. All of them are useful in various ways. They're useful in quests. They're useful in enchanting and upgrading. They're useful in combat with your spells or your weapons. I'm going to hazard a guess that the Khajiit would pick the sneak skill. So when you level up, I'm back at the Khajiit's board. When you level up, he's puts down the sneak skill here. Now that means that he rolls an extra dice when sneaking, which means he's going to be able to sneak against some of those more dangerous enemies. You then get to increase one of your attributes. So, for example, he might decide to increase his health by 1. That moves the block up because he knows he can in combat lose a health to gain extra sneak. And it also helps him absorb more wounds. Alternatively, he might decide to increase his stamina because he keeps running out of stamina in combat. It might be something he decides is more useful. As a guide, as soon as you move one of these up, these blocks show you what level you are. So he is now level 1, and anytime he faces a level 0 encounter in a dungeon, he's going to discard them at the end of the turn. And so on. So if he moves into level 2, he would start discarding level 1 items. The other thing to note about leveling up, once you become level 2 or level 3, you can push a third time. You can see this little red, green, and blue, like a dice icon here, which resembles the fact that you can push with your, either magicka or stamina again, depending on what you're using for the attack. And then if you get to level 4, you can push a 4th time. And you can imagine the level and power of the enemies that you're going to be facing when you might want to have to push 4 times.
Yeah.
And that's leveling up. So I think we've really covered everything. So it's, I think, you tell me, guys. So it's pretty, there's nothing complex in it.
I guess I'm kind of biased though because I've got about 120 hours in Skyrim, the video games. Obviously,
I think we all
love the IP. So, but yeah, it definitely feels like Skyrim to me, quite honestly. So I'm a sucker for adventure games like this. So for me, yeah, I'm all in on this one.
Yeah, and I think the leveling up is really interesting, along with the kind of progressively more difficult monsters you're going to encounter as well. I think that's a really, really good dynamic that you've got there. The game is adapting and adjusting to you as you get stronger, which I think is a really nice touch.
Yeah, I mean, I think sort of a few people said, "Oh, what all the big games use books of quest stories now. Why didn't you use that?" And what we wanted to do is have this like legacy style evolving story structure, which we could do with the card decks. It means those cards go away, that you have that sense of, oh no, a blade's died and it's been discarded, and this card gets given up. And it means we can have that evolving storyline where some cards don't exist anymore, and that changes the storyline. So
Yeah.
Combat's really streamlined. I do. I don't always love how dice combat's implemented, but I think the way it's done here is it's sleek. I do appreciate it.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, we obviously made a decision of like, it's not a dungeon crawl, but you want to feel like dungeons are fun, and that there's we've abstracted them into kind of the most challenging thing in that area that you fight before you move to another area. And there's going to be dungeons where it's 3, 4, 5. There might be dungeons where you face, certainly in later chapters, where there are 2 or 3 enemies in the same room where they're all attacking you. So it gets really tough.
Yeah.
Which encourages co-op, right? So a lot of games don't do that. They almost like if you team up, it's not as beneficial, right? You don't earn as much reward, but in this one, it seems like everybody kind of makes out.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously whoever kills the enemy generally gets the first reward. You can see actually some of the rewards on these things. The Dremora, everyone gets 2 XP, and then there's 2 single soul gems and a bee treasure for people to pick in that room. And it does make sense. So doing dungeons together means everyone gets XP. It's a really good way to level up together. You could, of course, go and do it yourself, but there's a risk, And if you keep dying, I think everyone's going to have words with you, like, stop dying and putting loads of threat on us. Come
Exactly.
on. I think the other thing, people go, oh, but it's a timer and I just want to explore. Now, a good example is like when I played with 2 Plus Tough last week, we only did like one of our main quests, the black quest each, and we went and did a couple of world quests and this big dungeon, and we got these cool treasures, and we spent an hour and a half just walking around Skyrim doing fun stuff, and we were like, oh yeah, we should probably do a quest, and that was an hour and a half, and
Oh,
I
wow.
think this is supposed to be an hour session, but it just shows if you want to just go and dungeon crawl and level up, you absolutely can, and just go and have fun. You don't have to follow your main quests. And the way threat works is it encourages you to get more side quests. More side quests that you absorb more threat means you can be more distracted and do things. Or you could just focus. No, I'm just going to go for my main quest. Just focus, just charge through, and then you could probably do it in an hour, but you'd miss out a lot of the storyline.
Yeah,
exactly.
Just on the buying and crafting and stuff, then, Chris. I mean, you mentioned about in the towns themselves, you have these various icons which allow you to go to decks. Is that in later chapters, or where are these decks here now? Or
Well, actually, yeah, because we just did this as a simplified version. So there are three decks. Path of Might is kind of armor and sword, two-handed weapons, heavier weapons. Path of Shadow is bows and sneak-related equipment, cool daggers and maybe some potions. Path of Sorcery is potions and magic spells, maybe robes and other, wearables that are useful.
Yeah.
So those also have some really cool gear in. So as you find a piece of gear, you might you might have some gear. For example, Anthony might go, you know what, I don't really want the Firebot. I really want to find something different, and sell it for 5 and the sparks for 2. So he'd have 7 gold to spend on buying something. So what the market deck is very simple. You'll have access to whatever decks are there in the towns, and be able to you pick from one of the decks to choose.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, you can also craft items, but only the basic items. So if you look at the basic items, kind of top left where all the treasure cards are, you'll see that they've all got a crafting cost. Now, let's say you started with heavy armor and a sword, and you go, I really fancy a shield. So you just spend 2 ore in a town, and you can craft that weapon. Or you might go, I really fancy a bow, or or I need some novice robes because I'm a magic user and I didn't get any. So it's quite easy to pick up one of those. Again, it's really just so that you can always get something you need if you really want it.
Awesome.
Once you're into the game, you're going to be seeing lots of cool treasures coming out of the B deck and then the A deck. There are numbered treasures, as one of the quests was Morash the Mountain Sword, which was S20. Let's have a look at that. We have a little numbered deck here. The Morash's Sword, look, here we go. If you'd got that, it's really cool. It does 3 yellow, 5 red. You can't sell it because it's a quest item. You can just give it to someone else or give it away. You just don't get any money for it. He'd be pretty upset if you sold it. Like, what? You sold my sword? So there's lots of really cool numbered items in here that you're going to be finding as well as a result of quests and stories.
Pretty cool.
And that's just, as I said, this is just the base game, and this is a very stripped back version. The first campaign is set 25 years before Skyrim. So you get to see a lot of those people when they used to be adventurers.
That's cool. Really cool.
Which is fun. And there's a lot of those characters you come across. And then what happens is the second campaign is set around the time of the Dragonborn. So you're 25 years older, okay? So you used to be an adventurer. You've kind of lost it a bit. So you're going to have to kind of reset your abilities. You maybe get some gear that you started with, and it's a chance to kind of reset things. So that's really fun.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the save system?
Oh yeah,
you mentioned,
good idea. So as you can imagine, well, wait a minute, what happens if we've played a couple of hours and we still are exploring, but we can't? We've got to stop for the night. Or if you get to the end of a chapter, it's like, well, how do I save my state? So we have some chapter save boxes. So there's a box for every character, and I think there's a box or the general game board. So that would be for any world quests out, for any active events. So basically, any of your gear, all your gear cards go into the box. Any skill tokens, any XP, septims, any components, any quests, any statuses, your character card, and your little blocks for your attributes. So when you basically you take that, and if you're doesn't matter if you're in the middle of a game, what happens is when you restart, you can start in any town. So I mean, if you want, you can say, well, I know I was in Riften, so I'm going to start in Riften. But we actually let you kind of start in any town. And if you had leveled up once and one of your attributes had been bumped up once, when you start again, we let you choose which attribute you want to bump up again. So maybe you go, oh, you know what? I wish I'd put my health up, not the stamina, because that would have been more useful. So you can just change your mind then. Or if you wish, you can stick with what you used last time. So that's how you save your status, whether you're in the middle of a big game. Because if you really want to, as I said, we played for an hour and a half, the first chapter that should only be an hour, and we could probably play for at least another hour. But if we'd run out of time, which we did, we could have saved the game, unlike Tabletop Simulator here, where it's very easy to save. We could have saved them in the boxes and carried on next week. So it's super easy to do that.
Excellent.
Definitely think if you're not, I'm coming at this as not a fan of Skyrim. I like the universe and whatnot, but I definitely think it's a solid adventure game for people who don't have one, just for the amount of replay and the choices you have. I like that you have to mitigate the threat. That definitely adds a layer to where you can think around, but you still have to be cognitive of that threat,
Yeah.
And it's not overbearing either. I mean, a lot of other adventure games that I've played, usually like the Doom track or the threat is so it builds up so fast that you're almost forced to progress through and not enjoy the world you're in. So I like it. It's good that it's there because it keeps you moving, but it's also not forcing you to do things you're not really ready to do yet.
Yeah. You can hold off main quests. Yeah, I mean that's quite an important thing, that we didn't want people to be forced to go and do stuff. It's like, but I just want to do a dungeon. It's like fun, and you absolutely could. So
exactly, I think that's great.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, what happens? Where does a threat go if you die? I'm not sure.
Well, so let's say the poor Khajiit had really screwed up.
It's close.
And so what we would have done is, there's 4 of us, so we would have to take 4 threats. Then we'd have to draw an event card. Well, he'd have to draw an event card, so it's all on him. And that, let me just draw one event card now. That is Daedric Invasion. That adds to threat, and we have to add a Daedra token. Oh, we didn't. Yeah, that's a good point. We didn't do Wandering Monsters. So let's see how this works. Daedric Invasion is move 1 Daedra token towards the nearest stronghold. If it reaches the stronghold, degrade it and remove the token. If there are no Daedra on the board, place 1 on a wilderness. So we add another 2 threats. So that's a total of 6 threat that we've all got to take between us on our quests, or maybe put them on the towns if we want to risk that, or maybe on a world quest. Now let's see how Wandering Monsters work. If we just go to the top left of where the counters are, you've got the 6 Wandering Monsters that you find in the base game. So we've got vampires, Daedra, trolls, dragons, Dunmer cultists, and Thalmor Justiciars. So this one's telling us to take a Daedra. I'm going to bring it into the middle of the board. And they're all double-sided. So that refers to a numbered encounter. So you would usually flip it, because you don't know which one it's going to be. One will be harder. And we need to place this on a wilderness. So I would have placed it, maybe here. It's a bit further away. It's not too close to any holds. And if one of them was on the board already, that card would have made it move 1 space towards. I can't pick it up.
Yeah, you've disconnected.
Oh, have I? Oh, okay. Well, someone can do it for me then. So you would be able to move that Daedra to 1 space towards the next town. So the way wandering monsters work is some wandering monsters will be moved towards the closest hole, and if they get there, they attack. They're killed in the process by the defenders, but they cause chaos. They cause the hole to degrade as if you put threat on them. So that's not good. In this case, you can see that you put one Daedra down, and only if there's no Daedra on the board. But other wandering monsters, they build up and they build up and they build up. There was one event card which would have added 2 vampires to the board. In the Dawn Guard campaign, we're actually going to see. This is an example of how we're always working together to defeat the really big evil plot, but we are going to take sides because nothing is black and white, right? So in the second campaign, you've got the Civil War. So we're going to start taking sides with the Stormcloaks or the Imperials, and that, depending on how many of us pick the Imperials or Stormcloaks, is going to have an impact on that campaign. And the same thing in Dawn Guard, as you can imagine, there's vampires. And so you can get vampirism, and some of you, as I said, you become vampires, and you start to align yourselves with Castle Volkihar or Dawn Guard. And as a result, there's a war going on between those two. And and we're going to go into this in more detail, but you're going to get to move vampires around the board as part of your forces. It gets really awesome to be the vampires, and the Dawn Guard are trying to fight back. But you're all trying to work together, because you remember in the Dawn Guard game, you rescue the vampire character, and you're running around. I've forgotten her name, but you're running around with her, and you go to the Dawn Guard castle, and they're like, "What's a vampire doing here?" And you're like, "Oh, she's my friend. It's okay." And then you go off to Castle Volkihar, and they're trying to give you quests. So you're all working together to defeat the really big plot, but you are picking sides, and you're trying to help Castle Volkihar defeat the Dawn Guard and vice versa. So there's some really great, I was going to say political, but there's kind of world building choices that you can make that can affect the whole world around you, the way the world is changing, and which sides have got more advantage, and that directly impacts your storyline as well.
Awesome.
Does each campaign come with its own events and monsters, I would assume?
Yes, so there'll be
That'll
different.
change
The event cards get added in. So basically, we start with this kind of raw vanilla event deck and the monster decks, and then as the campaign progresses, that 600-700 numbered cards all start being used to draw in more event cards, to draw in more dungeon cards, excuse me, and so the decks grow through the campaign, and that, some things will go away. Dragons are going to appear. They're not in the, because there's no dragons 25 years before the Dragonborn. But once, Alduin's arrived and they start doing his thing, you're going to start seeing dragons in the second campaign. And then, of course, in the third campaign, which is the Dawn Guard box set, we're kind of fully into the fourth era. And you're going to see the Dragonborn doing stuff in the distance, but you've got your really important story yourself.
Pretty cool.
Excellent.
They ask, can you become a vampire or a werewolf?
You can become a vampire, yes, but you can't become a werewolf. Who knows in the future, though? Of course, if it, we've got a lot of game content in this and a lot more to unlock. There's the From the Ashes box, has a huge dragon campaign, a big ghosts campaign, and we're adding in all these little mini campaigns that we just sent out an update just recently with this afternoon, which talks a bit about what those mini campaigns do. They're kind of added layers on top of the existing chapters that add more difficulty and great rewards. But of course, if it all goes well, we want to do more stuff. This isn't a full stop. It's going to be a big game line that will carry on and on.
Sure.
I appreciate you taking the time to show us today.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, guys. It's been great.
Yeah, this was excellent. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for your time. It's always been good fun. I never get bored of demoing it because I always get to try something different.
Exactly. No, this is a great experience. Really love it.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I think that's key. Out of the kind of 3 or 4 times I've played it, it's been a different game every time I played it now, which is really, really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is my first time. It's got me very excited. So.
Excellent.
And Thomas, thanks for your feedback on the colorblind friendly stuff as well. So
Yeah, I'm always
um,
trying to look out for that. I mean, it's something not everybody thinks about, but it affects,
yeah,
the whole interaction. Like, oh, I can't see this token. Now Mark has to tell me.
yeah,
And
okay.
I'm not sure if you looked into it. I would like the idea of saving maybe more
Oh,
minutely, you know.
you mentioned the map idea. Yeah,
Yeah, my suggestion was print out a map, like a gray, black and white or something, maybe a little bit of spots to write down or circle what the town was, what state the town was in, where the monsters were. I think it'd be pretty easy to do.
yeah,
Me personally, it'd be nice to say, oh, we're in a great state. I like where everything's at. It's a fun challenge. I want to
yeah,
keep pushing, but I've got kids or friends coming over. I gotta put it
yeah,
all away. I don't want to
yeah.
reset. I'm not gonna remember everything like that.
No, that's right.
I've been
And the
known
other
to take pictures of the board every now and again.
Yeah, my suggestion was a black, like they could even do it as a PDF, right? Where
Yep.
you just grayscale the map or something. You can take
yeah,
a
yeah,
note.
That way you can keep it with the game when you put it away. You have to break it out
yeah,
a few months later.
yeah. And that's pretty easy because we have the map file. So
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting lots of people are throwing kind of cool ideas at us, and we're kind of like, okay, that would delay the game. That's a pretty simple thing to do. So we're kind of taking on board lots of stuff and thinking, okay, what's an easy win? What's a lot of work? But I mean, people have lots of fantastic ideas. The community have been brilliant, throwing out all kinds of stuff for us. So including changing the mechanics completely. But
Of course.
we're not
I try
going
to
to
consider the suggestions I offer just for the sake of sanity on the publishers, but that's one good thing about crowdfunding is getting feedback from the fans and helping fine tune the game and make little changes.
And we've got, I mean, obviously people can download the rules. We're taking rules feedback, for the errata, so we can really improve the rule books and the readability and legibility and errors and things. We've already been taking feedback on the design of the cards. There's been what you're seeing in the tabletop simulator isn't the final card designs. There's been some tweaks to card backs and card fronts, some of the colors, some of the icons, and I know people have been talking about the art. And we were able to go away and get some much higher resolution imagery from the game engine. And so we're going to be showing people what that looks like in probably later this week to give you some kind of before and after, which hopefully will help with that as well. So yeah, there's all sorts of things we're doing to improve it. We're really hoping this is going to be that fantasy adventuring game that you kind of pull off the shelf every time you want that experience. And it's not going to be the things like, well, I've seen all the stuff, like I know what happens, there's no point. We want it to be, it's like, oh, but if I did it different, if I was the Khajiit this time or as the Nord this time, if I chose that other choice, I want to see what happens.
It evolves each time you play it. It's different.
Yeah,
It'll be the same.
All right. Unfortunately, I do have to drop.
We have to cut it. So I appreciate you guys. Thanks for Anthony from How It Plays and Chris from Odifus and Mark from Not Board Gaming and everybody that tuned in. We appreciate you taking the time to watch it.
Thank you all very much.
Awesome.
Hope you enjoyed that.
And
Thank you very much.
I'll be doing the update in an hour or so, which goes into more depth on these legendary encounters as well.
I'm definitely excited for those.
Thank you.
Awesome.
All right.
Cheers, guys. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye now. Bye.
Bye.
Before the Dragonborn came to Skyrim, you are surviving members of the Blades, a legendary group who long protected the Empire of Tamriel. Abandoned by the Empire, you must work together to thwart a plot which threatens the whole of Skyrim. Build a unique character in the world of the Elder Scrolls. Choose between Enor, Dunmer, Imperium, Altmer, Khajiit, or Orsimer. Equip your character with a wide range of weapons, spells, and armor. Travel across the halls of Skyrim to places like Riften, Solitude, Falkreath, and Whiterun. Attempt the huge range of evolving quests that change the game with each decision. Explore the wilderness. Gain side quests from mysterious characters. Explore ancient ruins and tombs. Battle Draugr, frostbite spiders, and Daedra. As you delve deeper, your foes become increasingly deadly. Gain experience and amazing treasures. Upgrade and enchant your gear. Level up your character with a wide range of unique skills and abilities. Play through 6 chapters of 2 huge campaigns in this endlessly replayable adventure game. The Elder Scrolls Skyrim, the adventure game. On GameFound now.